I don't, I don't really think, I don't really think it has to be Black joy, because I don't know, but I do have questions about the perpetuations of things that many people are running away from. But that's also the assumption that people aren't comfortable residing in them for the sake of perpetuating them, so people can see what was perpetuated onto us. And I perhaps think that that's perhaps what he's going for, but I still have questions, because I don't even necessarily think that I promote Black joy. I think that I promote human violence on human violence, and from that I get joy because I feel like I'm avenging. I mean, definitely, but I don't like to blanket generalizations. I try not to onto groups of people. I mean, I even feel that way when I use word niggas or like Black people. Like, I try to come from a place of just like my personal observations or experiences that I've personally had, which is why increasingly I'm realizing that I just need to collect data so I can have a reference point for something. I definitely think that vengeance can fit under the umbrella of just joy. It doesn't have to be like Black joy, but people would have to come forward and say that they experience joy from doing that, because I also get a lot of feedback where people disagree with a lot of my rhetoric. And essentially my rhetoric is, I feel that anger and any acts of violence is a very valid rebuttal to learning about the tortures that happened during slavery and the time periods after, and its impact on the Black Americans within the United States, through my visual imagination and my world building. Yeah, but there's also people who don't agree with that. And they just don't agree with it. They don't agree with it visually, or even if it was like real, which is also very interesting, because despite what people say, if you're not in pursuit of the same mission, the same way that they're on it, they will disagree with you and they'll fight you on it because they think that you're fighting a different battle. When really, everyone's kind of fighting the same battle. They just have their own methods for fighting the war. Because for me, it's difficult to, it would be arrogant of me to assume that everybody would hold hands. And I think that's been projected onto Black Americans for so long, because we all experience this surreal but very real visceral disenfranchisement that has to do with whiteness and systems of whiteness in America. So there's like this idea that we're all supposed to hold hands together, but each and every one of us fights the war differently. Some people become drunks and that's how they fight the war, and some people sacrifice themselves and that's how they fight the war, and some people assimilate and that's how they fight the war. Because at the end of the day, people are trying to survive, and then there's people who are trying to survive but will risk their survivivity for the sake of liberation. So to circle it on back, it's not that I disagree with Carlos Montiel. It's merely I genuinely have questions, because to me, it looks like a perpetuation of something that I want to unshackle myself from, and I do not see myself in that. Like, if I see images like that, I don't see myself. I see the opposite. I see the person fighting it, if that makes sense. So if I see someone that's being told to shut up and be quiet and not say anything, I see myself as a person screaming, being loud, and retorting back. That's how they've decided to fight it. They've surrendered, essentially. That's their fight. Their fight was surrendering. Like J. Cole. Like, they're on the field. They've just wandered away somewhere and they're drunk. They still on the field. Like, somebody's still coming after them either way. They on the field, they just drunk on the field. It's a different kind of fight. It's like, it's kind of like if you meet, it's surrender. They're, instead of fighting other people, they've decided to fight themselves. And in fighting themselves, they might die because they're not paying attention to the other people who are after them. I wouldn't even say the white flag is waved, because they're not even looking for, no one can come save you. This is a different kind of fight. It's like when a person's experiencing homelessness and, they're drunk all the time. And maybe they weren't alcoholic before they got on the streets, but somehow, some way they became one while being on the streets. I've heard some men and women experiencing alcoholism that it keeps them warm at night. So every day they're just belligerent. And it's belligerent because they're trying to survive just through the night. And yeah, there could be other things that are out to get them throughout the day. You could be going to jail. Somebody could molest you. Somebody could rob you, beat you up. Anything can happen. You could die, disease, anything can happen. Famine, whatever. But in order to survive that, you become drunk. So that is your weapon of choice. Fighting yourself is a sad battle. Definitely. And it's probably spookier than fighting the one that's coming at you. And many people have to choose. I'm not sure, but if I were to like put myself in that and like imagine like I could imagine like you said, like a mental slavery. Like a mental slavery. Like even though he's physically doing it, I could still imagine, even just for myself, the mental slavery that I'm consistently trying to climb out of. Similar to that post I made the other day, where I feel like the reason why my work is the way it is at this point in time is because I feel like I have to like kill all these white folks out of my brain and my psyche just to get to me, to myself, because they've infiltrated. Yeah, unlearning. You know, when people talk about, I'm decolonizing my mind, that's basically what I'm saying, but using more words because I don't like that phrase anymore. But it's that. It's essentially that. But my method may not be the method other people take. And so it causes a lot of friction and tension. But who are they to decide how I fight the battle of decolonizing my mind?